Welcome back to another episode of Unhinged Bookish Thoughts. Today we are talking about our favorite daddy, Corn Daddy. I really wish that I would have gotten a corn costume and just worn that.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's fine.
Corn Daddy. Corn Daddy, don't be shocked. We have another sentient type of unhinged read.
Who would have thought?
We read Corn Daddy over the summer.
Mm-hmm. Back in July, something like that.
Yeah, and for those of you that know us, Liz and I don't really do well at retaining information.
No.
But there is something about this fucking book.
There's something about this corn man.
There is something about Mr. Corn Daddy that just sticks with you.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite unhinged books that we've read.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it was a perfect balance of what the fuck am I reading? I oddly really like this, and just funny chats,
Yes, it's very random. You convinced me to read it, so that tells anybody anything.
I did. I just remember I was sitting in my, I have a swinging chair out in my garage. I had a crisp White Claw and my Corn Daddy on my Kindle, and I just floated in my chair and had the best time.
It was a vibe.
It was, and I made so many notes.
Yeah.
This was one of my favorite books to annotate. And I wanted to make my notes a whole fucking post, and maybe I still should, but it was really good. Why don't you give us a little synopsis of Dear Corn?
So, Corn Daddy is about a woman who goes into a corn maze and gets sucked into a corn man's cave.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know what's going on. She's underground. She's like, what's happening? And then she meets this corn god kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then she realizes she's obsessed with him. And he wants her to be his queen. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
And then she's like, maybe.
She is very much down to Corn the cob.
She wanted
that cob. But he's yeah, for real. She was getting ready to shuck.
Mm-hmm.
But she's his stipulation to them getting to be frisky with each other is that she has to become his corn queen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's absolutely not, So she leaves. They don't do it the first interaction.
Mm-mm.
And then she realizes that she has this longing for Mr. Corn Daddy. And then she goes to the grocery store. Do you remember this?
Yeah, so I was like, didn't she go to a grocery store and get some corn?
She gets some corn to fill the void of missing Corn Daddy, and she boils it.
Yeah, she boils it. She makes sure it's sanitary before she uses it.
We love a thoughtful, mindful queen. She doesn't want to.
She's like, I should probably clean this first. I'm like, yeah.
And then she realizes that it's not doing what she wants it to do.
Mm-mm.
And doesn't she just up and leave her house, and she runs to the cornfield?
Yes. And she waits in the parking lot until everybody's gone. And then she goes into the corn maze, and she's like, hello, I'm here.
Come out here.
I'm willing to be your queen. And he doesn't show up. She doesn't show up. So what does she do? She starts attacking the corn.
And we should explain that at the beginning, because that is part of the plot. She disrespected the corn. And that's really why he came in the first place. Not literally, but physically.
This is the second episode in a row that you've said come or came, and we went came.
Yeah.
He didn't, but he did.
I also feel like we're not giving the full details because you need to read it for the full effect. But when they first initially met, it was almost kind of like a BDSM situation, because she came too in his dungeon thing.
Yes. And she was like, where am I? And she's strapped to a pole or something. Like a tree post, something like that.
How would you describe Corn Daddy's appearance?
Like a stalk of corn.
Yeah,
that's
with
over
abs.
top of a muscular man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of even like how to describe it. It's so hard to like picture because I'm like, I just see like a very muscular man in like
Yeah.
a cornstalk costume. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he's like, because he has like leaves over his face, right? And then it's like hiding who he is. Like,
Yeah.
right? Am I wrong on that? Yeah.
Like the most like the most human form of a corn cob that you can think of.
Yes.
Like it really is a great
like a
balance.
corn husk, but like a man.
Yeah. Because deadass, I thought when we started, I seriously thought it was just going to be an actual piece of corn with arms.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So you go through, she obviously didn't want to be the queen. She didn't want to be stuck in the cornfield. Then decides she loves him and, you know, they go. And the way in which they start boning, I just can't imagine how painful that fucking was. Like to have these corn stalks being like jabbed into you because he's like trying to take her from behind and shit.
Yeah, it's violent.
Wasn't his man juice? Wasn't it butter?
Yeah. I thought it was funny, like, I won't lie, like, there's a lot of, like, I wouldn't necessarily say sentient, but, like, monster smut that, like, the peen comes out of something, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, in the beginning, he's, like, getting a boner, and it's, like, poking through these leaves, and all she sees is, like, a corn cob. And she's like, yeah, okay. Also, she went to the store and got a corn. Like, right.
Yeah.
In today's age of vibrators, we'll just say it, why didn't she just go to a store, a sex toy store, or like go online and just order one that looked like a piece of corn? Like if you can find ones that look like dragons, octopus tentacles, pumpkins, you mean to tell me there's not one that's a corn out there that looks like a corn cob?
I wonder if she hoped that as she started like boning herself with the corn, like if it somehow would like compel his magic.
Or would cure her of her corn sickness. She was down bad for the corn daddy.
So I took a lot of notes.
I want to read.
I
want your notes. I didn't make any, so let's go through your notes.
So right out the gate, first comment is corn daddy is ready to play because he really does come in hot and heavy.
Yes,
he's ready to go, and he's a dom for sure.
Yes,
100%.
Dom daddy corn. He's a daddy.
I did think it was intense because when she first arrives, he felt her presence. And I was like, is this like a fated mate situation, you think?
It could be, yeah. Like, or is it just like he could feel her like intent, like as soon as she got there, like she wasn't like a bad person, or he like smelled her? Because it's always, I smelled you.
I don't want to smell her. Don't do it.
But it definitely could be like fated because like why else would she have fallen so hard? You know what I mean? Like she fell hard and bad fast. And so it definitely could have been she was just destined to be with the corn god.
Yeah. That's so true. Speaking of folding fast, because there's at one point I commented, Elizabeth folded for the corn daddy so fast. She said, fuck me now. And then I said, go off, corn queen.
She did, yes. She was just like, yep, let's go. Let's do this now.
One of my fave comments is, a throbbing only a corn daddy could ease.
Yes.
No context to that. Let your mind run wild.
Enjoy that thought.
I do love, though, I love when I go, do I like this?
Yes.
I will always find a part that I'm like, wait, I think I'm really into this.
I'm into this. There were so many pictures that I got from you that were like, do I like this? And you're just like, I don't know if I should like this or not.
Let me bring you guys in for this one. This quote says, she was absolutely aching to cover this vegetable man in her cum. And my response was, again, this is a first for me.
This is the first for me. Yes, it was very much a first. I've never looked at an ear of corn and went, I wonder what that'd feel like. No. She was very much like, as soon as like he started to get a hard on, she was like, I'm into this. Let me see what you're working with, corn daddy.
Yeah, and I think this just goes back to us loving obsessed men. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because he was obsessed.
What else oh my god. Do you remember this part? She asked him, am I shifting your humidity, buddy?
Yeah, because she was so wet that it was shifting the humidity in the air.
My jaw hit the floor.
I was like,
I
who
could not.
says that? Oh my god. Oh my god.
He also actively tells her to shuck him.
Yes.
And I love that for them.
Yes. I mean, you've got to give the author credit, and that's what I think is the most. I think that's probably why I keep reading these Unhinged KU reads, because the creativity that the authors are required to have to come up with like these things. Like, I write fantasy, and in my mind, I wouldn't have thought of shuck me. That would not, like, at all would have crossed my mind to write ever.
It works so well.
Yes.
And this was one where it was like so out of this world, nothing we expected. But we were in it.
Yeah.
It's
I was like, what is
really
happening
good.
here? I may make faces where I'm like, but it's not that I'm not enjoying it. It's just like, oh my god, what is going on here?
Yes.
What is this story?
At one point, she says, I want you to fucking baste me with your ripe cock. I commented, and I mean this so fucking literal, never want to read that sentence again.
Oh my god. It's like, honestly, let's, like, if he did, and then she smells like butter then afterwards. Because his cum smells like it's butter.
Could you just imagine being pumped full of butter?
Ew.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even like the feeling of movie theater popcorn butter on my fingers. I cannot imagine.
No. Like cleanup? The yeast infection. Because he needs to find a queen to replenish the soil, and he's a fertility god, and so
yeah.
Well, also let's the fact that he is a fertility god, he's good at it.
Oh yeah.
He's
and
down.
Also, we've essentially given the whole story away, but I don't know why I'm saying spoiler, but spoiler.
Yeah.
He impregnates.
Yes. Yeah, that's just like, I was like, what were they called in the end? Because I went, I don't like that.
I think that it like took pause too, which is wild to say this is the only thing that made me take pause, was at the end, she becomes Corn Queen, so she becomes part of like the cornfield with him.
Yeah.
They're just straight up watching the police search for her.
Yes. She went
because
missing.
She just disappears.
I'm like, okay, she's gone. And everyone's like, oh yeah, we're going to just watch the cops try to find me.
And like, you would think that Corn Daddy would be like, why don't you leave a note? You know?
That you like left willingly, something like that.
Because you actively talk about how she has a roommate that she's comfortable with almost telling about Corn Daddy.
Yes.
Like, you just think the repercussions. Yeah. Like, is Bestie just having a mental breakdown?
And it's weird because, like, her car is there, right? Like, it is very much like she got abducted by aliens kind of thing. Because her car was there. She parked it at the corn maze and then just, like, disappeared.
Also, could you fucking imagine, like, writing that letter?
I'm gonna go
Dear family.
I've left on my own volition.
Yeah, they would be like, no, we have, like, an active serial killer who's a fucking psycho.
Also, was his first queen? Like, is he a young god? Because, like, he talks about needing to, like, replenish the land, right? And so, has he had a queen before? Or was he just taking toys?
Didn't he try to have a queen before? Maybe it didn't work out?
Maybe, yeah. But, like,
imagine
also, what did those babies
Corn Daddy
look
like? All I can think of is just, like, hundreds of little corn kernels moving in her belly, and it freaks me the fuck out. But
I was thinking, like, like the little niblets, of corn, like those, with the little kernels, and just, like, floating around. But, like, what did they... Also, is it, like, a litter situation?
I don't like it. I don't
does she have a litter of corn babies? Or is it, like, one big corn baby?
Does it look like a baby? And it's, like, wrapped in...
Because it's half human.
Corn leaves?
Oh my god, why did I have to shuck the baby? Like, instead of a placenta, it comes out, like, in a stalk, and they have to, like, shuck the baby to get it out.
I don't like this anymore.
Died.
You know how I was talking about, like, how into it I was and how I kind of thought it was sexy?
No, you're like, no,
we've made it too weird now.
We've made it too weird. Shocker, we made it weird.
What's funny is Liz and I both live actively around lots of corn.
Corn.
So initially when I first read this, I was like, what the fuck? I can't even look at this shit anymore.
As someone who's actively partied in corn before.
We have a corn festival. I read this book like 2 weeks before our corn fest.
We don't actually have a corn fest, which is shocking. Very shocking.
Yeah.
But yes, corn is
daddy.
everywhere. Corn
next year
dandy.
Next year I should offer to like read this at the corn fest. What do you think?
They'd be like, it's a poem. I need to read a poem. Everyone will enjoy it.
At the potluck.
The potluck, we're gonna read Corn Daddy. Everyone join us. I need everyone to know how active I was about to get, like, I read this back in July, and I knew that when fall hit, we're gonna go to a corn maze. And so I had been plotting. I have one video I made, one reel, that's of me looking at a cornfield, looking at a corn maze. I have had that idea since July, and I was holding on to it, just waiting. That's how committed I was to this bit. And now we're doing an episode on it. Because we're like, you know what? We need to do this. This is happening.
And it's getting its own episode because
Yes.
Corn Daddy deserves its solo
own
episode. Has Unhinged gotten its own episode, or did we just talk about that
I think we
once?
just talked about it. It should. We'll start doing more. We should just do an episode recapping of all the random KU things that we've read. Because there's a lot.
There's a lot.
We could organize it. We should. And we have one that's just food-based.
Yeah.
And then animal-based. All the Easter ones.
Yeah. It's
No.
our Kindle history is gonna be really fun.
My Kindle's like, do you want to read this random horror thriller, or do you want to read this absolutely unhinged Christmas smut? We don't know. Pick it. Here's just my collections are weird. They're weird. Okay.
We will say Christmas is gonna be a crazy amount of recommendations.
It's gonna probably be 2 parts.
Like a spreadsheet of 100+ books.
And I will be posting it.
And counting. I feel like we were like gently sending each other like posts, and then it just flooded.
I didn't even write all of them down. That's the craziest part, is there's still 110, around 110 recs on it. I will be posting the link so that people can go to it. So if you're looking for Christmas recommendations, we will be doing a 2-part, most likely, Christmas episode, because there are just so many, and I have already started my reads. So we're going to be having a massive collection of them. So I will be posting it so that other people, that way you don't have to go looking for them. They're already there.
I also started my reads because I'm a good girl.
Yep. You've already read at least one of them because Can I Tell You Something is on the list because it's Christmas. So
honestly, my Christmas wish is that Holly Smith will maybe one day come on our podcast.
Yes. I mean, I could totally slide into our teams, but
I would pass away.
Daddy.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're good. Do you have any other comments, or was that all of them? All your notes?
I did have more. I wasn't sure how down and dirty to go with them.
If you have any highlights that were just the most random that you haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah. Let's see. There was one part where it says she rocked her hips and inched forward just a little, then just a little more, like the first time that they're having sex.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, they're not having sex. This is her, I think, masturbating, actually, with the piece of corn. And I commented, this Barry Manilow playlist is not matching the vibe of corn self-love. Because I'm not kidding. I was just sitting outside, fucking floating in my chair.
I will say one thing. We are around corn all the time. Corn has the little, like, hair on the top of it, right? The little, like, extra bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, after you shuck it, it's still got a little, like, tassel on the top of it that it can stick out. And his has that, and it was, like, wires kind of little tentacles-ish. And it was like, he's very much like a hybrid between a monster and like a god, right? His stalks came out and like attached to her.
It's like something that your hand gestures are making me feel. And they
attached to her. Like, I can't remember.
It's almost like Avatar with their fucking ponytail.
Yeah, the thing that they like attach, like the little spindles. Yes, that's what I saw on the top of his hair.
But his are the silky part of the corn
Silky,
cob.
and it was like in her.
I don't like it here anymore.
I know, I do have a bad habit of ruining things. It's okay.
She also at one point said that he tasted familiar yet decadent. And my response was, bitch, we've all had Walmart corn cobs. Of course he tasted familiar. You ate some at the 4th of July barbecue next to your Aunt Betty.
Oh my god. I also was like, well, butter would be appropriate because I don't know about you, but when I make my corn on the cob, I put butter and then salt on it. Like, just spray a little salt. So, I mean, him being a buttery, salty mix, it makes sense.
Do you, like, oh, first off, never doing that again. Why do I...
How many different episodes can we have where Carrie makes weird hand gestures?
It's going like this.
Every
and
episode
like this,
we've had
and
so far, Carrie's done weird hand motions. And I'm loving them.
I feel like your wrap-up, it's just going to be a 10-second video of me doing all...
Literally every episode from 2024. I want it to be just, I'm going to do separate ones. I'm going to do a bloopers one. Actually, we'll do 3. We'll do a bloopers. We'll do a highlight of our favorite moments. And then I'm just going to do one where you make random hand motions. And it's going to be But yes, I'm like, you... Also, like you said earlier, like buttered popcorn. Like, yeah, that's what I think of. Like, that was probably what, and like extra salty kind of thing. Like, yeah. Like, honey, you've had corn before. You live, I don't even know where. But if there's corn mazes, you live most likely in the Midwest, okay? Because that's like a Midwest thing I've learned. If you're not from the Midwest and you have corn mazes, please tell me. Like Iowa, maybe, yes. But I have talked to people in New York, Texas, and California through my job, and none of them understood what a corn maze was. They're like, what is a corn maze? I was like, what? But like I get the premise, but like, what's the point? I was like, you go through it? It's a fall activity? And then I sent them the one that we're like famous for in Ohio. And I was like, they're like, now we want to come. So I have these people in like multiple parts of the world that want to now come to my area because one, they want to go to our Cedar Point, which is one of the best like amusement parks in the world or in the country. And then they also want to go to this corn maze. I'm like, we don't have much else in Ohio, okay?
Look at you changing lives.
Amusement parks and corn mazes. There's literally nothing else.
A corn daddy is for everyone is awaiting.
Yes, somewhere around here, most likely. Yes.
That's one thing we both have is just a fuck ton of corn.
How did he get her underground? Did he just like transport her? Or is there like a trap door?
I think there's like a trap door.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah.
How did no one find it?
I think that's because I think the way his magic works is like he can like mend the ground.
Because I'm also thinking like when they harvest the corn, like how no one noticed anything.
Yeah.
Because they did find her person shit in the field, right? Like when they were looking for her, and
yeah,
and so it's like, did they accidentally like harvest her? Is that what they're thinking?
But also like how dark is that? Like if they harvest the corn, does his kids get murdered?
I don't know. Did they just like stay underground?
So many questions,
like all the time.
Honestly, we need a corn daddy Christmas so that way we can know what the holidays look like.
We need to know what's going on. And
yeah, we need to hit this author up.
His like den was not like very like it was very sparsely decorated, right? So I'm like, did she then like spruce it up for him? Because she's like a human, right? Like it's a dirt mound, like they're underground. So I'm like,
is she about to fucking Joanne Gaines the shit out of that little corn dungeon?
The ground. There's no lighting. There's no windows. Also, like she's a human, right? So all these kids are gonna be half human, and like you need light. Like, we need vitamin D, so what's happening there? I need a follow-up. I just need an epilogue of what happens. That's all I need.
Yeah. Like, give us a look into the day in the life of. Just give us a little vlog.
I need a Corn Queen follow-up. Let's go.
Yeah. It was really, honestly, kind of cute. Spicy.
Very spicy.
It wasn't off-putting, really. The only thing is the butter thing, but...
Yeah. But that's so common, like...
Yeah.
Anymore, it's starting to be like, it
was also like so jarring, but hilarious.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like constantly she was being like basted in butter, like basted. So that helped.
And his cum wasn't gummy bears.
Oh my God,
imagine
Lord.
if it was like little corn.
I am telling you, the things that we
have read. It's so funny. We're gonna have to do the DNF series though. That is gonna be on our
I'm
list
so
for
excited.
2025. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do that in January.
These are just really
February,
fun, quick.
because we have stuff already planned through February, so we can do DNF for March as an episode.
With the amount of Christmas books that we have to read,
We're gonna be reading until February.
Fucking need a vacation from. And
Something.
soon we'll want to even start reading more Villains and Vixens authors too, you know.
Yeah, that needs to be a list. If the people who are running the event, Bree and Ashley, if they don't have one yet, they need to make like an accessible Excel spreadsheet with all the authors and all their books.
They do. I could share that with you too, but
yes, we need that so we can start going through it.
There is a Villains and Vixens specific Christmas post as well.
Nice. I don't know if I have all those on our list, so I'm gonna need it. I will
find that and I'll save it and I'll send it to you.
We need it
because I think I'm gonna do one of those for my December post.
Good. Yes.
But so yeah, look at us. Here we've gone again. Me getting us off topic. But that was Corn Daddy. Corn Daddy, 5 out of 5 for me. No notes.
I would say, yeah, like a 4 corn cob.
I was going to say, if you didn't at least give it 4.
I gave base like a 2. Popcorn kernels. I would say 4. Yeah, like it was an enjoyable time. There moments that I went, no. Yes. But that's how it always is.
There was a lot of moments. Correct, yeah.
No.
There was a lot of moments I was just like,
was it a good time though? Like, was it funny? Yes. Like, yes. Are these vibe specific books? Yes.
Yes.
I'm not in here to like question things. Now we're going, okay, then what do the babies look like? Because we're invested, okay? We're invested.
Yeah. One of my favorite Unhinged reads.
Yes.
To date.
Yeah. I still like probably Unhinged better. I'm trying to think of any other ones that I can think of. There's a lot that we've read that just like they're forgettable, right? Like I'm like, oh yeah, I read that. Oh yeah. There's so many.
That was the thing I read.
That was the thing I read. Yeah. There's several coming up. There's a ton of them on the KU list, so or on the Christmas list. So
yeah, buckle up, guys. We are not finished with these fucking books.
These books, I want to make like just one. Like if I could make an Excel spreadsheet of just the Unhinged like KU reads, that'd be great. But there's so many of them. There's so many of them. I would spend my entire life trying to write this list. It's not going to happen. So no, there's just a lot.
We fully hope to be like 60 years old still talking to you about like a volleyball smut or something like that. You know what I mean?
Things. Not sentient basters though. Please no. But sentient pumpkins? Sure.
Smash.
We'll do that. We're proud of that. I read it. Sentient corn dad? Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Sentient corn dad?
Dad? Maybe.
It's corn daddy. It's corn daddy.
Zaddy, maybe. Well, that was Corn Daddy. It is on Kindle Unlimited, so if you want to give it a try, go right ahead. We highly recommend it. And as always, remember, read what you want and don't be a dick.